I'm Melisa Idris. Welcome to Consider This. This is the show where we want you to consider and then reconsider what you know of the news of the day. Now, as Malaysia continues to grapple with the complexities of criminal justice reform, the integration of parolees and former inmates into the workforce remains a critical issue. Tonight, we'll investigate the challenges and the opportunities faced by those with a criminal past when seeking employment. Is the path from prison to gainful employment paved with enough support? Or are there gaps that need urgent addressing? Well, joining me on the show to discuss this further today, I have Dr Kausalya Devi Sathoo, who is a former Deputy Commissioner in the Prisons Department, as well as Dr Mohammad Rahim Kamaluddin, who is a criminologist at UKM's Faculty of Social Sciences and Humanities. Both of you, welcome to the show. Thank you so much for being here with me to talk about this important topic. But I think we need a little bit of context for many of us who are not familiar with how the rehabilitation programs are run in prisons. Maybe you can start and give us an overview, Dr. Kausalya, of how the current rehabilitation programs in prisons work. I understand we have a parole system, but what other systems are there?
Thank you, Melisa. Okay. Allow me to actually bring you back way before independence. If you see that during that time, prison was more for locking up of offenders, no issues of any rehabilitative program, something like that. And then slowly hard labour was introduced. Whatever reason at that time, hard labour was introduced, and with the implementation of the ordinance, the prison ordinance during 1952 and 55, you realize that there's some element of rehabilitation, but it was more on a harder aspect, where talking about hard labour, forced labour was implemented in the prisons. And this evaluation became better when with the implementation of the Prison Act and the prison rules and regulations, whereby elements of rehabilitation were stipulated in the Act and in the rules. And you can see that focus was given on physical rehabilitation, where we are talking about exercises, and later some of the medical issues were also taken care of during at the time. But early 2000, the department realized that rehabilitation has to be seen as a total. It's not only a small aspect of rehabilitation. So talking about their physical condition, talking about their social, talking about psychology, and talking about spiritual was incorporated in the program, where it was named as the Human Development Program. And this program was not only established by the prison officers, it was also by the academicians. Some university lecturers were brought into and discussed over how to develop activities in the rehabilitation program. And with this very strong foundation, I think the department was confident into applying rehabilitation not only in institution, we're talking about beyond institution. And that's where the parole system was implemented in year 2008. We were actually the pioneers in the system, and we were trained by New South Wales prison staffs, and we actually took a lot of info from New South Wales to be implemented. Of course, we did a little bit of changes according to our nature, and now we are talking not only about rehabilitation, we are talking about reintegration and also restorative. So it has actually taken a bigger view on the rehabilitation of inmates.
Right. So just to zoom in on the parole system, maybe you can tell us how the parole system works and how it's designed to facilitate this reintegration to society.
Okay. Parole system actually gives an opportunity for the department to implement rehabilitation not only in the institution, beyond the institution. So first we talk about the eligibility. Who are eligible for parole? Not all inmates are actually eligible for parole. First criteria is their prison sentence must be a year and above, and then they would have undergone rehabilitation program in the prisons, and they have to achieve a certain target, and they must actually have job opportunity given by either by the family members or the employers.
So employment is a
must,
a requirement to
yes.
be eligible for parole.
Yes.
Okay.
unless for some particular reason, either health issues or for women offenders where they are actually mothers or wives, where the husbands actually support them financially, so they did not have to work. But other than that, employment is a basic requirement for them. And besides employment, they must also have a place to stay and somebody out there to say that, yes, we are supporting them there and we will also monitor them on behalf of the prison department.
Let's bring Dr. Rahim into this conversation. So if employment is a key requirement for inmates to be able to be eligible for parole so that they can reintegrate into society, how do we think about the importance of employment and the challenges that some inmates face when trying to enter the employment arena?
All right, thank you, Melisa. As what Dr. Kausalya said, employment, I would think that employment is a key factor. So one of the important factor why it is necessary, vital for them to reintegrate into society, because that employment, that salary gives them confidence that I am able to work just like others. You know, that confidence, that self-esteem is very important for the inmates. You know, many studies we have done. I mean, in Malaysia or even outside of Malaysia, the scholars found out that those inmates who fail to secure any job, after they released from the prison, the chances, the probability of them to re-offend is very high. This is what we call as recidivism from the context of correctional viewpoint, recidivism, and that person is known as recidivist. It's actually a relapse into criminal behavior. You know, when we talk about this recidivism, and I'm sure recidivism, reducing recidivism rate is one of the key area that focused by our Malaysian prison department and also everywhere. So employment is always give them some kind of confidence and also security for them to reintegrate. So the studies also shows that those who are able to secure a job, the chances for them to reintegrate is way higher compared to those who couldn't secure any form of job. And of course, again, go back to your question, what are the challenges? The first one is, of course, the labeling issue, stigma.
The stigma.
Yeah, so once a person released from the prison, they are being labeled, oh, you are ex-convict, you are prisoner, you are a rapist. You know, this kind of labeling issue, stigma, that always put them down. You know, and of course we know that, you know, if someone has been in the prison for a long time, and I'm sure that particular area, the community of that area or the neighborhood, they will know that this person is from the prison. You know, so chances for them to get a job, even some 3D works, you know, is quite difficult, and that actually rationalize their act. That is not only the factor, but that is one of the important factor. But that actually becomes the one of the reason for some inmates, former inmates, like, I have tried my best to get a job, but since the society, since I am unable to get job, so better I go back to my to re-offend, for example. So yeah, so all these combined together, and that actually contribute to recidivism actually.
So does the prison system help prepare inmates who are about to be released or into these rehabilitation programs like the parole system? Does the prison system help inmates prepare for employment outside of the prison compounds?
Yes. Why I say yes, because first we conduct rehabilitation program which actually caters to their physical, mental development, and we also provide vocational training for them. And vocational training here, it can be both, either it's on the traditional way of rehabilitating, or we also certify their skills training in the prisons. We have JTK, Jabatan Tenaga Kerja, who certify, and we also have other agencies which actually certify the skills of the inmates in the prisons. So with that certification, they are able to get a job outside. Besides that, we also engage for the parole system. We engage with, sorry to say we again, because I still feel that I'm in the department.
No, feel free to use that.
The department
even
actually,
though you're retired, I know you are strongly associated and
the department
advocate for
actually work very closely with many companies who actually employ inmates even before they are released. So they, while on parole, because parole is not, it's a conditional release, it's not a total release yet, right? So, and those who are released on license, we also have another system, the release on license. So these employers actually train them, they have a pre-training before being released, and once the prisoners have come up to their deadline of their release date, they are actually further employed by these inmates. So this opportunity given by the companies and other agencies actually enable them to secure a job even before release.
Okay.
It's like, you know, those days when we were studying, when you're a scholar, your job is secured.
Yes.
Unlike nowadays. But
what kind of jobs?
In multinational companies, I think it's not right for me to say on the companies, but you have multinational companies who actually employ them. And these inmates actually don't stay in the prisons. They stay at the hostels provided by the employers.
Okay.
So they stay and they actually gazette that area as prisons, and they work just like any other operators who work in factories as operators and things like that.
What kind of skills do you think that inmates need to prepare themselves for reintegration to society, particularly in terms of employment, Dr. Rahim?
Yeah, and before I answer to your question, Melisa, based on the statistics, it was evident that those parolees, the statistics, the prevalence of recidivism rate is way lesser. I think it's less than 1%.
0.24%.
Yeah, 0.24%.
Sorry, so parolees tend to not reoffend.
Yes, compared to non-parolees.
Compared to those inmates who are released directly from the prisons, which is about 19%. So 19% and 0.24%. It is.
That's a big difference. What's the rationale behind it? Or what is the hypothesis behind it?
The employment. Again,
the
employment
factor.
That confidence, that self-esteem, they're able to earn something and then they're able to support their family. You know, they have something to adhere on. Yeah, so I think that employment, that's why we see that employment is one of the key factor. For them not to reoffend. Yeah.
Okay. So
what are the skills?
So what are the skills needed? But I also wanted to look at it as in terms of kind of demand and supply, right? So you are creating workforce-ready former inmates, but you also need employers to accept these workforce-ready inmates. So let's first talk about how to create workforce-ready inmates. Dr. Rahim.
All right. Of course, I think prison department is doing a great job, you know, by providing certification, some kind of skills, and so that they can prepare that workforce, I mean inmates, to work once they have been released. But now I think in the current situation, now we don't need employer, because all of us can work as a freelancer, for example, as a food reviewer, for example, in the social media. So they need this kind of skills, like how to communicate, how to convey the advantages of any product, how to review food. I think that's, even though if they cannot secure a job in any company, so they also can work as a freelancer, as a food reviewer. I think they can earn a lot. They can earn more than us, actually.
Right, the gig economy gives you an option.
Yes, exactly. So they also need some kind of other skills, like soft skills, like communication skills, to groom themselves so that they look presentable on the social media and so on. So these are the skills. I think prison department also working on that. And they started to integrate these kind of skills in their rehabilitation program, so that the inmates they will have like most of the skills once they have released from the prison, so that they can, they can become, they can work by their own, or they can join any company. Yeah.
So soft skills is part of the rehabilitation
module.
Oh, fantastic. So when we think about encouraging employers to accept or to offer these opportunities, knowing what we know now, what the research tells us about how important employment is to prevent a recidivism. So how does the prison department encourage, incentivize, educate employers about providing these opportunities?
Okay. The department actually conducts a annual seminar where it invites all the employers to talk about how did they actually open up their business into engaging with the inmates and the how successful they are, and we also invite other or potential employers to come in and listen to the seminar. So probably that by listening to other employers, some employers might come in to take the inmates.
They need to see someone else maybe do it first.
Because people are very skeptical of taking inmates as employees. But what we hear from these employers who have already taken inmates as their employees, they said they are very hardworking, very productive, and very easy to manage them.
Let's address that. Why are they skeptical? What are their concerns?
Because of the stigmatization.
They're worried that they will be victims of crimes perpetrated. Okay.
Yes. Or talking about or the labeling of inmates. Maybe we have to. I think now the department has come up with the brand name of prospect.
Yeah, prospect.
No more inmates.
So we don't use the term inmates anymore.
Inmates, yeah.
So prospects.
So maybe sometimes, you know, by calling somebody some negative
words matter.
Words matter actually. So I think in one way they have done that. Another way is you can see that the Malaysian government has actually provided opportunity for employers who take inmates or ex-offenders as their employee a tax relief. So that actually encourages employers to take inmates as their employees.
How do we prevent employers from exploiting inmates? I mean, you talked a little bit about how we used to think about hard labor, and then maybe Dr. Rahim, you mentioned a bit about, you know, they can't even get 3D jobs. I would like to think about gainful employment, meaningful employment for people who are coming out of the criminal justice system. Employers may see this as an opportunity to exploit cheap labor, cheap workforce. And I've seen this in the headlines multiple times. They can replace foreign labor, they can do 3D jobs. But that's not what we hope for people who come out from the criminal justice system. How do we think about that, Dr. Rahim?
Yeah. And of course, Melisa, we want to give opportunity for the ex-inmates, former inmates to work at the work settings. But bear in mind that not all job scope are suitable. For example, being a security guard, it has some potential harms. For example, there's a risk. For example, they may possess a weapon. So because knowing that they have some sort of criminal history, so maybe they are not suitable to work at this kind of security related jobs. But they can work in the companies, for example, electronic companies, which doesn't, which less risk. Less risk. And again, this when we talk so that they don't exploit this group of people, again is the integrity issue. Integrity of the employer. They shouldn't exploit, even though they are from prison, because that is their rights to demand for the basic salary, for example. So I think this is the issue of integrity, where the employers should see them, not to see them as an ex-inmate, but see them as a normal workforce, just like others. So that de-labeling, it's actually very important. Even though, like for example, let's say in this studio, let's say we bring ex-convict to become one of the panel for this, consider this. What would be your reaction? All right, I'm sure as a that is a nature of human behavior.
Right.
But we should reduce that stigma. And we should start to treat them. They already went through the punishment for whatever action that they have been committed. So we must treat them as a human. So I think when we see that, I think
Sure.
I would like to also add on this exploiting the inmates. Actually, the department takes very stern actions on employers who does that, because there's no avenue for them to do that. You know why? When they are being employed, they have to sign a contract to say what are their wages, what are the other facilities. Like, they also provide them with EPF, with SOCSO, with insurance.
So they have proper employment contracts.
Yes, proper contract. And then it's also monitored by the department, especially for the parolees who are still under our supervision. The department ensures that the wages are being paid accordingly, whatever benefits that they are supposed to, if they have overtime and things like that. Besides that, their hostel is also monitored by the department. They have to have the basic facilities. I think it's under the Act 446, where the employers have to establish this kind of place for stay, which has this so and so facility. I can't remember the detail, but it is according to the.
Okay, so there are safeguards. There are safeguards.
Yes.
Wonderful. I'm so intrigued by what you said, Dr. Rahim, about how we all play a role in reducing the stigma and discrimination that former inmates face. Talk to me more about that. What can we do as a community? And I know the civil service plays a big, civil society plays a big role in the work being done to help the rehabilitation and reintegration into society. But what can we do if we were to meet someone with a criminal past, for instance? How can we help this person reintegrate into society in the spirit of restorative justice, Dr. Rahim?
All right. When we currently we are actually conducting a research, and that research is actually supported by MID. We actually looking at factors contributing recidivism among Indian inmates. So we already conducted survey around among 420 inmates, recidivists, and most of them, they have been coming in and out for more than 5 times. We also have a record like almost like 15 to 20 times, So when we actually look at the factors, one of the important factors what makes them to re-offend is the labeling by the society. Sometimes the support by the family is there, but the society. For example, simple labeling that when someone in the neighborhood, the ex-convict pass by us, they suddenly, they already
they hold the bag,
alert, they hold the bag. So this kind of behavior, actually makes them to feel that they are actually being discriminated.
Sometimes they feel that there's no point of repenting.
Yes.
The society does not see me in that way.
Yes. And they also become the bad examples. For example, you have to study well. If not, you will become like that uncle. You will go to prison like him. So this kind of issues, it may look so simple, but that actually contribute to re-offense. Again, like for example, when employer, right, he wants to employ ex-convict, former inmates, but he is just paying 500 ringgit per month, exploiting, So that criminal mindset, again we are going to the psychology of the criminal. He will think that now I'm working so hard for almost every day, but I'm just earning 500 to 600. If if I'm a drug trafficker or drug pusher, I can easily earn that 500 in a day or in 1 hour. So that actually will rationalize them to commit. So that's why each of us in this society, we actually play a significant role, for this contribution of the recidivism. So that's why as a civil society, we need to support. What they are expecting is support. If they come and join us in any social gathering, welcome them. Welcome them. So, but that's why when we ask actually, when we ask the prisoners, all right, why you don't go attend any social events, function, they said that they are not welcome. They felt that they felt so inferior. They felt that when they go attend any social functions, it's like the entire people, the other attendees, they will feel like, why you are here? This is not your place. They are giving this kind of reaction. So all these actually will accumulate and justify them to re-offend.
And I think one of their grievances on employment is when they are given a job and later the employer goes on a background checking with the PDRM, and it's found that this person is, so it has got nothing to do with how he is performing his job. It's just that he had a previous record, and that actually makes him lose his job, the current job. And where else do you expect him to go? Because this is going to happen again and again, and the only place he's being welcomed is the group that he has been previously, right?
Yeah.
And the crime that he's going to do. So if he feels that that is how he's going to survive in this world, he is going to offend again.
Well, thank you so much, both of you, for highlighting the importance of employment in the reintegration of former inmates into society. I appreciate your time. Thank you for highlighting such an important topic. That's all we have for you on this episode of Consider This. I'm Melisa Idris, signing off for the evening. Thank you so much for watching, and good night.